Like stated in the title of this video, Road to a Roadie, like most BMWs, there's always a few things wrong, and 9 times out of 10 it's always electrical, which is super annoying, which is what's wrong with this one. There's a few things I'm going to talk about that what we need to get done for the roadworthy, but one of the main things is it has a really severe battery drainage problem. So you can charge, get a fully charged battery, put it in the car, it'll start with no worries. Leave it overnight, get up in the morning, start it again, no worries, starts first time. You leave it any longer than 3 days, 4 days, and boom, she's flat. Not really sure what it is. I've tried to do a little bit of self-diagnosis, but I still can't work it out. So it's booked in for the auto elect early March, so fingers crossed Big Frankie boy can work it out and solve the problem for me. Other than that, I'll run you through a few things that I need to do to get this car ready for the roadworthy. So one of the first things I needed to do, which BMWs are known for, is door handles. These things always freaking snap off, believe it or not. I actually got this car bogged in my dad's front lawn one day, just trying to cut across the front. I don't know why, I just was. I had a good mate of mine, Austin. He came and dragged me out. Unfortunately, his raw strength, I'll put a photo of him up right now. You can understand why. He pulled the door handle, thing snapped off, but we're gonna have to fix that. Another one is that the side mirror. The side mirror has cracked. We have replaced that now, but the side mirror went, believe it or not, I was doing skids in the front paddock with my dad's place, and X5s don't drift very well, so had a lot of understeer and just went straight into his tree and smashed that, and I put a little bit of a dent, but that's fine. Next thing is that the sunroof. Sunroof stopped working, as I'm sure all BMW owners would understand. It's a pretty common thing. Fix that by simply closing it and taking out the fuse so it doesn't work anymore. So it doesn't actually work at all. So it's a non-functional sunroof that just stops water from going in, which is great. There. What else do we have to do? All right, so fender flare, sorry, not fenders, guard linings. I don't know wherever you are how strict they are on guard linings, but here in Victoria, for whatever reason, you need to have all the guard linings to pass a roadworthy, which is super inconvenient, but is what it is. I threw mine out because I'm an idiot, so I had to go to Wrecker and get one. So that was another thing. So engine wise, it didn't really need much in terms of a roadworthy. I'd originally taken off all the plastics like the engine cover, the intake, all the unnecessary shit, so you sort of have to take off anyways to work on it. So I took all that off so I could work on it more easily, because in the past I've had the harmonic balancer had the accessory belt go, the alternator, a few different little pieces. So it's always easier when all this shit's gone. It's all back on now, ready to go, so that's why it looks so nice and clean, which never really does. So that was a big thumbs up. Engine wise, it's all pretty good. As I sort of mentioned earlier, probably the hardest thing with this car so far is that with this drainage problem. So like I said, the battery would just die within a matter of 4 days if you leave the car off. Originally it was a lot worse. Originally the car wouldn't change gears if you were driving along, being an auto and whatnot, which was a huge pain. So we thought, the alternator had cooked it, because it wasn't supplying power to the ECU and whatnot, and it was getting confused when the car was turning off while you're driving. It was a bit of a mess. So far, once again, I thought it was the alternator, replaced that, wasn't the alternator, thought it was the starter motor, replaced that. Replaced the battery, thought the battery was a problem, battery wasn't it. Then I replaced the positive cables from the back to the front. For those who don't know, BMW batteries are in the back, so I have to replace all the positive wiring from the back to the front of the car. All the ground wires have been replaced from there. Car still wouldn't start, couldn't work out why. There wasn't any drainage readings on the multimeter and stuff, so I was like, okay, well, why is it draining but there's no readings saying that it is? So from there I replaced the ignition switch, thinking the starter motor wasn't even getting enough power because it would crank, but it just wouldn't crank enough, if that makes sense. Or it wouldn't crank well. Replaced the ignition switch. Like I said, so far we've got ignition switch, starter motor, alternator, battery, positive cables from front to rear, all ground wires. So basically the entire, not the entire, but you know, majority of the electrical system that helps the car start, or makes the car start. That's still nothing, which is great. That's why I've given up. I'm taking a big Frankie boy, the Auto Elect, so fingers crossed, Frank, because if you can't work it out, then this channel's done for. Yeah, so a bit of work's gone into it already. It's obviously frustrating being able to, you know, to replace all these different things and not being able to work it out, which is the beauty of Auto Elect shit. You never can work it out, unless you're really, really good, which I'm not. But yeah, thumbs up. And probably the biggest laugh at the moment is that I can't even get into the car because I locked the car, put jumper leads to it, and now the car, unfortunately, I don't know if you guys can see this, fingers crossed, where is it? The keys are in the ignition turned on, but the door's locked. So now we'll discuss what we've done. We've got a roadworthy from the inner guards, mirrors, ignition switches. What else did we do again? Look, I can't remember, I said it earlier. Anyways, the only thing left to do now is to get the Auto Elect to get this thing to start regularly without it draining, and then we should be good to go. Next episode, probably going to be doing tyres and suspension first. So we'll see what tyres we can fit on this bad boy. Obviously we're going to go some mud tyres. Hopefully we can slap some 33s on there. Highly doubt it. People have done it before, but I do want a bit of clearance. I don't want to be able to, you know, go around a roundabout without scrubbing. So realistically we'll probably aim for some 31. I think the wheel specs that we're going to be aiming for is a 17/8 0 offset, or even like a -22 offset. Yet to work it out. I know people can fit like 10.5s on these in terms of like, you know, like a street setup. Like people go like 10.5 wides with a 22 you know, positive offset. So I don't think an 8 wide 0 offset is going to be unachievable. I think it's going to be pretty realistic. You know, we can't go 16s. I know most full drive boys run 16-inch rims. Unfortunately, you know, we actually have brakes on this car. Like we actually have decently sized calipers, so we can stop. So the minimum we can run is a 17. I have put one of my Honda Civic 16-inch rims next to it. It does fit, but like we're talking millimeters of clearance. So play it safe, go 17. And yeah, so Auto Elect, roadworthy, here we come. One thing that I did forget to mention earlier is that this old 3-litre diesel right here, from factory, the 2060s, I think they make 480 Newton meters or maybe 500 Newton meters of torque. Obviously that's at the crank, because all, you know, specs are at the crank. I don't know what it would make at the wheels, to be honest with you. Kilowatts, it's 172 kilowatts. So 172 kilowatts, 500 Newton meters of torque. So basically better than, like, you know, like, to be brutally sound, you know, most full drives from factory, which is a bit of an insult considering it's only got, you know, a 3-litre diesel. You know, and like for example, the old Land Cruiser, the old V8 twin turbos, I don't even think they're producing as much torque or a kilowatt, which is, you know, pretty sad. But hey, that's why we choose this boy. Because hopefully, you know, we're going to surprise some people off road, and we're definitely going to surprise some people from the old 0 to 100 as well. Probably everyone's thinking, oh well, obviously it's going to go faster than 0 to 100 BMW, but like, to be honest, like, you know, you've got a V8 twin turbo, this, you know, should be creaming this thing, but hey, hopefully we're going to upset some people. It's going to be the fun part, the entertaining part. Yeah. Another really interesting point about all of this is that I actually tried to make a channel to do this once before with a Subaru Impreza. I tried to turn it into a bit of an off-road whip, but literally first episode deep, this happened. Put the photo up. But yeah, now so we're gonna roll with this. Fingers crossed it doesn't happen again. But you know, don't drive your stock Subarus or your lowered Subarus through puddles, yeah.